You know, you'll often hear people who are really into self-development talking about cutting out, say a toxic family member or somebody who might be kind of holding them back in life. This is true. There are going to be a lot of people in your life who, quite frankly, are going to hold you back from accomplishing your goals, whatever those goals may be. One thing that we don't really think about too often is the more unseen time vampires that exist, not in another person, but actually in us. What are those time vampires and how can you spot them so that you're not having time stolen away from you without you even being aware of it? So what I'm basically talking about here is, sort of self-sabotage, but more specifically, you could say I'm talking about procrastination. And there are different forms of procrastination that it's helpful to be aware of. And I would ask you, which one of these forms are you? Or maybe you're all three. Number one is the cowardly lion. Now this is a cartoony example. The reason I use these cartoony examples is to kind of help you remember quickly this information so you can start to spot these negative patterns in yourself. So the cowardly lion is, he's a lion, he shouldn't be cowardly, but for whatever reason, he's afraid of everything and anything in the land of Oz. Now, how does this apply to you? Well, let's say you have to do something that might be kind of intimidating. Let's say you need to do, public speech, for example. Public speaking, for many people, can feel like they're on death row or something and they're like walking out to the firing range before doing their speech. And that's because we really care about what other people think about us. Some people would rather die than to give a speech. Let's say, you're in this situation, you're about to go up and give a speech. However, you haven't done it that often and the cowardly lion might be kicking in. And suddenly you find yourself thinking, oh, I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I have enough material prepared. I gotta hold off here. Now, what you need to understand is our belief systems will tend to follow our emotional state. So if you are feeling, say in a heightened state of anxiety, your brain will create a narrative to basically explain the way that you're feeling. We tend to see the world through the lens that is that heightened state of arousal. And if that's the case, if we are in a heightened state of arousal, our belief systems will follow suit. We'll start to take on that narrative that, maybe we aren't ready to give the speech. Maybe we don't have enough good content or whatever it may be. Your feeling of fear is actually generating these thoughts in your head, right? Your belief system tends to follow your emotional state. But now that you're aware of what the cowardly lion is doing to you, you no longer have that blind spot and you're able to kind of navigate the world in a more objective way to counteract this emotional limiting belief, right? Or this procrastination. Number two time vampire within yourself is the sulky toddler. Now, what a sulky toddler is, the way I think about this, is let's say that you are feeling kind of, nervous. Say you go to a party or something, and you start to create drama, you start to cause issues. You start to blame other people, point your finger at what they're doing wrong, and you might even be right, but the reason you're doing that is not because of the actual reason you're thinking it is, right? Remember, it's that false narrative that your state is creating. The reason is you're probably just not wanting to do that thing, right? You're not wanting to go to that party. You're not wanting to, give that speech or whatever it is. You're pointing your finger at other people and you're using them as a scapegoat to get out of doing this thing that you don't want to do. So I encourage you to take responsibility for yourself if you are feeling the sulky toddler vibes. I'll give you another good example, right? Yeah, you're in sulky toddler vibes and today is a beautiful day, but if you're in that sulky toddler mode, your reticular activation system is only going to fixate on the negative things. In social psychology, this is called confirmation bias. We tend to look for evidence that backs up our existing belief. So if you are feeling sulky toddler and you're kind of falling into that belief, you're buying into that narrative, that false narrative that your brain is rationalizing, you might be scanning this environment for all of the negative evidence, right? For example, you might be like, well, it's beautiful, but there's a dead squirrel over there. That's gross. So this is important to be aware of because it's going to cause a lot of unnecessary drama in your life. And guess what? You're at fault. And number three is the distractible kitten. Basically, distractible kitten is when you're not focused on the priority you should be honed in on. For example, if you have a paper to write, why are you not focused on that paper? Why do you feel like, oh, now's a good time to practice paper mache, and you start building paper mache hats? That has nothing to do with your priority at that time. You're falling victim to distractible kitten. Very common forms of distractible kitten could be you baby stepping yourself into, maybe grabbing another snack, or maybe playing another round of Super Smash Brothers or whatever it is. You're going to basically let yourself off the hook, and instead of being disciplined and honing in on the thing you're supposed to be doing, you're going to just kind of allow yourself to be lazy and drift off and basically have your time sucked away from you. Some important things I want to talk about before I close up this vlog. There's a concept from the book War of Art by Steven Pressfield called the resistance. The resistance is basically, you could say it's an emotion. It's that emotion that causes you to procrastinate. Let's say every time you sit down to work on your book or whatever it is, something that's, feels like it might be a huge endeavor, you might get cold feet. You might get kind of cowardly lion and, oh, I don't know if I can work on it right now. Distractible kitten, like, I'll just play one more video game, not a big deal. I'll just watch one more episode of Netflix, not a big deal. Just one more, until the whole day is messed up, right? What Steven Pressfield recommends you do is every single day you show up and you put your butt in that chair, whether you're producing results or not, because you need to do that to get over the resistance. And then from there, you're just kind of waiting and putting in your time and waiting for the muse to come and find you. And once the muse finds you, that's when inspiration takes over. And that's when, say you're having issues writing one page the last week, every single day you're trying to write one page. Now it's like you're super inspired and you write 20 pages, right? Or maybe even, 50. That muse has found you. But in order to summon that muse, you have to continuously show up every day and fight that resistance. Even if it's only one page a day, you're gonna have to commit to that and barrel through that resistance. Self-help community, it's very common for people to be cutting out family members and friends who are stealing time and energy away from them. And you need to understand, okay, to some extent, you are probably gonna have to do this, right? You're gonna have to set up boundaries in your life against those time vampires so that you don't lose too much time to these people. But at the same time, you don't just want to be cutting out everybody in your life, right? What if you're the toxic person and you're just cutting everybody out, not realizing that you might just be sulky toddler, right? So it's very important to think about who you choose to spend your time with and what types of boundaries you want to have for certain types of people. But at the same time, the most important thing here is you. That's right. And me, I guess, to myself. These time vampires exist within us, and we can easily fall victim to them if we're not aware that they exist and we don't keep them in check. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found the content helpful. If you do like my channel, please subscribe. Also, if you have any questions or have any topics you'd like me to talk about, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you later. Peace.